All right, everybody's favorite person to contribute to this channel. Brent, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm okay, man. I'm okay. What's the
So,
dealio?
so you emailed me about David Yost, and I was like, "Oh, that guy. I don't want to. I want to keep it appropriate. He's speaking. I don't want to hear from him anymore. But yeah, I'll just type in something. See, he probably won't read it, and then
He didn't.
he didn't. Okay. I thought so. And then I heard about that. Like I tried to watch some of the stream, but I don't want to type in the chat and then like leave and do something else. And people are thinking that I'm a coward for not responding. So I I watched like 10 minutes and then I left for like an hour or something. So I only like quote unquote ninja watch for like 10 minutes. So I saw some of the stuff, and Francis, your friend Aaron, I think he's the one as the Legend of the White Dragon. So I think he's the one looking for attention. I'm trying to give David Yost an opportunity to respond. So that's why there's a delay. I'm not looking for more attention. So yeah, I just want to put that out there. I'm not delaying this for more attention. I'm delaying this because I want to make sure I check all the boxes. I give everyone an opportunity to who wants to speak, because David could have easily given his side of the story. If what I did was so inappropriate, there are certain situations where that response of asking me to delete a recording is appropriate. But he would have said it right then and there, but he didn't. But he knows what his decision was bullshit, because he thinks he could dictate what I could do, what I could keep. And I saw some of his live stream, and it seems like he was saying something about dog poop or something. Like, I didn't watch the whole thing. Something about dog
after your dog.
Okay. So yeah, I should have watched the whole thing. But yeah, pick up after your dogs. I was like, wow, David. Okay, whatever. Wagging your finger at people. That sounds that makes more sense now. So
okay.
Yeah, but that's about David.
All right. So what else is on your mind, Brent?
Let's see here. The David Yost thing, and then I was watching some of I know you guys want to talk about the Drew Danger thing, and what he said. And are you threatening me with violence? People are going to say that, oh, you didn't watch the whole thing, or you looked around, so you saw the whole context. You're missing context. My response to that is, even if you hear what I said, like Drew threatened me with violence, and that's true. And then people are going to say, well, he apologized. Well, I didn't hear the full, or his response when I left, Henry was like, he's looking in the background. He didn't apologize then and there. He said some really aggressive thing, like me having a tennis racket or something. I didn't hear the whole thing. But he having tech, and you sit down there like a boy or something, let the men speak. So that shows to me that he had time to reflect, and he was still not apologetic. So I didn't hear any apology from him. And then he went on to talk about how I'm not going to hit you because you're not worth it. That doesn't sound like an apology to me. That doesn't sound like an apology to me. So people who think that I explained the whole, I really don't need to, because there are certain situations where violence, if let's say I put Drew in danger. Oh, the pun. That's really.
How can you put him in danger if his last name is Danger?
But let's say I put him in a precarious situation, and then he needs to resort to violence to get out of that situation. Using physical violence is justifying that situation. Other than that, disrespecting Francis online, I don't think qualifies as being justified to say that you want to use violence on someone. So whether the argument of out of context doesn't really apply. Now, if he did apologize, okay, but that doesn't change the context of what I'm saying, if that makes sense. So, do you have any? I mean, I don't know what else. Any questions, Henry? I don't know. You're
well. It's been brought to my attention that you may have left out some more context on another person's page with this message right here. Someone physical violence during the stream Casey was on yesterday.
And I was so surprised. I was.
Don't you think you should say someone threatened physical violence against me during the stream, as opposed to just leaving it open-ended it like this?
So if I say that against me, that makes...
Does that change things? Because maybe people may think that this is saying that people were threatening Casey. You don't see how that can be interpreted that way?
Okay, so let's say that I had, why are we arguing this contexting this? So that makes what Drew did, I mean, okay. I mean, I don't know. I don't understand what.
We're not saying what Drew did was okay, but when you tell a story, it's important to tell it accurately, because I don't want people to get the impression that threats was made against Casey when it was just you.
Henry, come on. Okay.
You got to speak accurately, don't we? Ain't that
that is accurate. And whether I add that context or not, you're trying to distract from what's being said. And people are going to jump on this. Henry, come on, Henry.
Think Casey,
Henry.
If
this,
you got to,
this is what you're focusing on, Henry. I mean,
if you come to me off the street and you say, hey, someone threatened physical violence during the stream Casey was on yesterday, I may be inclined to think it was against Casey.
Oh my God, Henry.
You wouldn't? If someone said, hey, physical violence was threatened at the con that Austin
You
St.
are
John,
distracting.
Hold on. If I was to say someone threatened physical violence at the convention that Austin St. John was at yesterday, I was so surprised. Would people think that threat was made against Austin St. John, or it was made against me?
During the convention Austin St. John was at, I wouldn't think it's Austin St. John specifically. I mean,
so
but
they shouldn't think it's Casey specifically.
I don't think so. But again, Henry, why are you focusing on this?
Well,
why are you focusing on this?
I don't want people to think that guests that come up get threatened. But just want you to speak accurately.
Oh shit, Henry, come on. Come on, Henry. And you're not focusing. You're trying to grow your fan base. I know what you're doing. This is just
growing my fan base is not because I clip you. That's not what's growing it. But you're
trying to look at this, Henry. Like you're focused. Was I said inaccurate? Someone did threaten physical violence. That's a fact.
Yeah. No one's denying that. But the violence was against you, not against Casey. Not against anyone else. So when you
during the stream, Casey was on yesterday. During the stream, that's accurate.
Yeah, but someone may interpret this as it was against Casey. The same way if I said, hey, someone threatened violence at a con that Austin St. John was at, you're going to think, oh, someone threatened Austin St. John. Or if I say, oh, someone...
Then it would have... Maybe I should have clarified, but that does not change the context of what happened. Maybe I should have clarified, but the thing is like...
Well, you have this thing where you omit key details.
Oh, like... But that doesn't change...
That's a key detail. Someone threatened physical violence against me during the stream Casey was on. And it happened like well after Casey left. But yeah, Drew shouldn't have said what he said. If that's what you want me to say. He shouldn't have said what he said, and I corrected him afterwards immediately. Even my grandmother was on board where she was like, thank you for de-escalating the situation afterwards. What'd she say? Because, my grandma, sometimes she roots for you, sometimes she don't. But yeah, what Drew did was out of character, and we don't condone violence on this stream. Now, were people laughing at you? Absolutely, man. Do people probably want to see you get smacked? Probably. But it won't be by me, and I don't think it'll be by Drew. I'm glad you did this. So,
because I wanted, there was a lot, I had a lot I wanted to say because I was taken aback by what he was saying because, I could tolerate people who disagree with me. You've seen on this very channel, April, Fairy Todd, Francis, and they come at me, they came at me hard. And I'm like, I don't like what they're saying, but I appreciate them not escalating it to threats of violence. They're able to keep it somewhat threatening me with, I don't want to use the word respectful, but to a civil level, I would say. And what happened?
Okay, so what?
I thought it was out of line. And most people, I've been getting texts of support and not so much support, but that's just... and I appreciate the people who are showing support because what Drew did was, I'm going to say it myself, was not acceptable. I don't care if I disrespected Francis. We argue the points, the merits of what we're discussing. If you feel like I left something out of context, we could clarify it. I don't know why you have to resort to threats like that. And I feel like if I said what Drew said, people would be outraged. Anstros would be like, there are laws. You have to be careful.
Well,
Brent.
I don't think people will find you physically threatening.
Right. But what I'm saying, Henry, is like people like Stephanie did.
If you disrespect someone and someone defends that person, you know, it doesn't, sometimes the disrespect is not going to be the same. Or you disrespect them verbally, they may disrespect you physically. And in a real world, that can happen rather quickly. And I think that's what Drew's point was yesterday.
Afterwards, but for the first, when I was on the stream, and then even during when I left the stream, when you said I was lurking, only after the answer 06 nicely reminded him of what Drew did was wrong. People were laughing, and I find this. If I were to do what Drew did, I don't think people would be. I don't think people would be laughing. They would be calling me out and saying that how dare you threaten Drew Danger? How dare you do that? How dare you threaten Angel Test or any other of the people in your show? So I feel, I mean, it's just kind of like, but when Drew does it, you guys are laughing it up. And I feel kind of like, And then I read, like, Cheyenne was imploring me to read some of the Discord comments. I stopped after a few of them because I was like, okay, I might have left something out of context. Okay, I'll clarify it immediately. Yes, and it doesn't change. That doesn't change what Drew said.
Well,
or how I feel about it.
This is the second time. First it was Ranger Stop. Now this.
Because that does not change the context of what happened. That, like, if I left out the context, now if I put Drew in a precarious situation, if I was one to initiate that changes the context completely. Then the threats of physical violence would be justified in that situation. Then you could accuse me that's out of context. You left out that important context. But what I said, that does not change the context of the situation. I still feel even if in that comment or whatever that I left out, it was to me versus a general situation. That does not change how I feel about what Drew did. And for you to focus on that rather than the focus being on what actually happened, I feel that's kind of disappointing. But if people want to do that, I'll keep defending. Yes, I have to write to me, I guess. I mean, I can't speak in general terms anymore, I guess. And if people want to focus on that, that's fine. That's their prerogative. If they want to focus.
Was this on his channel? Was this on?
This was on the conspiracy theorist website. It was on his website, his comment section. So we were talking about. There was a whole stream of comments. I don't remember what they were, but if people want to distract from what Drew said and focus on this, then this is the more prevalent.
People just want you to speak accurately. That's all. We don't want.
This is accurate. This is accurate. But the thing, this is accurate. And not mentioning your name, Henry, at Ranger Stop. Whether I did it, it was irrelevant. It was irrelevant.
That's super relevant, man. You mentioned.
No, it's not. But we could keep arguing. It's not relevant because I feel like
you mentioned my name at a convention you knew I was banned at and expected nothing to happen to you. When you know these Power Rangers are sensitive as they ban me just for having an opinion. Go ahead.
That was Christy I was speaking to, who I didn't know who had any role. And I already told you this, Henry. I don't know why you keep. But I know that the audience there. I read the comments on Discord. I stopped after like the second one. I couldn't believe that what I was reading. It was like
I don't read Discord all like that.
Right. I mean, it's kind of like.
Go ahead. And then I'll read the super chat.
And then, so focusing on the words, I mean, if you want to go, I mean, we've discussed a situation with Walter and JDF and Francis. That was a very important piece of context she left out. Yeah, that focus, people don't even address that even once.
And there's no context left out in this statement right here.
Someone left. That's an accurate statement. Someone left doing it, and I was so surprised. Yes. Why is this? Why are we arguing this? This is an accurate statement, and it's not misleading anyone. And it's not misleading. And if I know, I don't have access to the chat because I'm on my phone, but I know there's people they're going to focus on this and not focus on what Drew said. And what Drew said was unacceptable. And hopefully, he won't double down like that. If he wants to double down, that's his right to do so. But
okay,
yeah, what Drew said was ridiculous. But most people would be banned from certain YouTube channels if he spoke that way on other YouTube channels. But I don't feel he should be banned. I don't feel he should be banned because I understand that people get heated, and this is his first offense, and I understand.
So
people have passion for JDF, and it's like, and people don't like what I have to say to Francis, and I still stand by it. But I understand when people they're frustrated. They sometimes they say things completely out of pocket.
Okay.
But
I don't care about I don't care about Drew's apology on Discord. Public disrespect should be a public apology. Discord is not public, as some of these videos get 1,000 views and not 1,000 people are in Discord. But Matt Fisher says, anybody else having deja vu? Let me help. La 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 la. All right, anything else you want to say, Brent, before I bring up Drew? Do you want to be on screen with Drew? How do you feel? Do you fear for your safety?
I don't, but I just want to say one more thing. Like the situation with JDF with that guy in Phoenix, I know it's not what you said doesn't escalate that level, but it's kind of like we have to argue our points without using that language, because it sets a precedent. If Henry, you could only control so much, but as the head of this channel, you have a responsibility to put down that type of discussion, threatening people with violence, is not tolerated on this channel. Yeah. And and we can only just control so much. And I really hope that Drew doesn't double down, because it seemed like I left the channel. I was quote unquote lurking, and he seemed to double down on this. He seemed to double down on it. And then he seemed to down on it again, not as hard. He said he won't hit me, but because I'm not worth it. That's not really an apology to me. And I know I don't have access to the chat, but they're probably hating me for saying this. But some of the comments that I received in the support, people are like, unacceptable. Should not be tolerated. I'm like, but I understand the passion people have, and I just hope that if Drew comes up on here, that he apologizes first of all, and tells the other people, implores the other people on your channel that he was wrong and that Brent had every right to be upset. Because if he doesn't want to do it, that's his right. But
all right,
then I won't accept his apology. Then
let's bring up Drew, and only Drew, so he can grovel.
I'm here. Grovel? I'm not groveling.
Well,
Brent, listen, I've actually been talking about this since last night with other people. And Dust actually reached out to me this morning. I was in the court and I wrote an apology for you. And I know you won't see it in there, but it was a start. And I admitted I was wrong almost as fast as I said it. And I did an apology, and I did a second apology, and I wanted to apologize to you in person because it did go too far. Now, let me explain. It wasn't dealing with JDF. I have a wife. I have sisters. I don't like to see them disrespected or put down. So I'm a little passionate about that. And another thing is, I am of Jewish descent, and you made Adolf Hitler quotes, and I'm not the biggest fan of him. And knowing that I've had family members that died in the Holocaust, I'm not big on that. But that's my bad. I shouldn't let it come out on you. I'm not a fan of you. We probably never hang out. You'd probably give me gas and a headache. That's for sure. But I do not wish physical harm on you in any form. And really, like what I was trying to say, it came out wrong. But I'm kind of talking to you like somebody that I do care about your well-being, but the way you approach people and talk to them, sometimes people may not let that slide, and it's going to cause problems with you in the future. That's what I'm saying. And because you approach things that way, and you have, Karen Ashley, Steve Cardenas, different people, David Yost, I know you're going to say it happened this way, it happened that way. But here's the thing. You got 3 different people that aren't happy. Okay, that's a problem, because it's going to make problems for you in the future. And me being from where I'm from, I've seen people get killed. I've seen people get hurt. And I don't think that you should get hurt or killed over things like this. I just think that you should have respect for people. You can disagree, you can argue, but at the end of the day, come together and be cool with each other. And that's really what you kind of have to keep in mind. Now, it's up to you to decide what you will and what you do with that. But that's pretty much what I have to say. So I get to all that to say, I deeply apologize. I shouldn't have let it go that way. It should have never happened that way. I could have handled it better. That's not how I am. And that's not usually how I handle situations, but I let things get the better of me. But, I just wanted to make that known to you, and also let you know that I was making it right since early this morning and also late last night, talking to people. I talked to Matt Fisher, I talked to Regan. I talked to everybody. I talked to Dust. I talked to Francis. I talked to Cayenne. I did a whole thing, and I went through and kind of discussed it with people to kind of start clearing up the air long time before I came on here. But I had the intent from the beginning to right there and come here in person with you on stream. I didn't know when the next stream was going to be. I heard Friday, different days, but that was when I was going to do it. But since Henry streamed today and you came up today, I decided to do it today for you before, any of this even came into play. I already had it in mind to do this.
Oh, it's about to get turned all the way up, guys. This apology that you have, this shit ain't coming out for a while. So your clip where you threaten them is about to come out tomorrow. So it's content, baby. It's content. But I appreciate you apologizing for the second time. But yeah, I think everyone knows he shouldn't have said it. And I don't think anyone thought that you would harm Brent in any way.
Yeah. And everybody held me accountable. It wasn't like, all right, they were like, Drew, we got to talk about it. I said, yeah, guys, I know I messed up. Like, I was already out the bat like that, and that's the thing. But one thing, Henry, my medical issue, I got sick after I said that. That's what I was saying. My MS flared up after I said what I said because it took a lot out of me. Not when I was saying it. I own that completely.
Man,
that's not
letting it flow, brother.
That was the thing. And because I let it flow, I got sick after. So my wife had to really help me out last night because the MS flared.
Are you saying Brent makes you sick to your stomach?
Yes, he does. There you go. He makes me sick to my stomach.
All right. Well, let's see what Brent has to say.
I get how people online they get passionate and heated, and it's just part of being interacting on social media. And I've heard people say that type of behavior, they should be banned from YouTube channels. And I do understand their viewpoint, because when you resort to physical violence, it sets a dangerous precedent if there's a perception that type of behavior is tolerated. And if Henry decided to ban you, I would think maybe I understand it, and I understand people's view when people have that viewpoint. But for me personally, I understand the passion that people have for certain topics, whether it's JDF or Francis or whoever. And okay, so what? I was taken. I will admit, when I first heard it, I was shocked, because you were seen as the peace, like Laura's like, you're the peacemaker or something. And I was like, and then when I heard that, I was like, what the hell is going on here? I have a lot to say to this guy, and he will hear from me. I am not afraid. As you saw with me and Francis, I'm not afraid to share my opinion, but I'm a type of person who de-escalates, and people on this chat will make mockery of me for being a quote-unquote coward. Okay. For de-escalating situations, not the situation specific, but other situations, de-escalating. But I feel like that was the right decision, because I felt I read the room. I chose to read the room, and I realized that this is getting out of hand.
What the hell you doing reading rooms now, bro? I've been trying to get you to read the room for years.
But for when we have discussions, it gets heated, but never like with fairy talk, like the bullshit he was saying. I mean, sorry, but the bullshit he was saying, I just wanted like, ugh. But I was like, what? I'll keep it going, because whatever. It's talking where it's part of social media. But when I resorted to physical violence, I was like, oh shoot, this guy is really angry, is actually angry at me. And if I continue talking, if I engage in a conversation, it might escalate even further, where you threatening you and I might say something that's much worse than what was actually said. So I just said, I'm leaving. And then I decided to look around, because I wanted to see if you were going to apologize. And you didn't. You said that, take my tennis racket and sit in a corner. Please don't get at me for not directly quoting. Okay. Something along the lines of, take your racket and let the men talk. And I was like, oh shoot, this guy's not apologetic. He's how dare you speak to me that way? He's a jerk. And then and he means what he said. And I was like, maybe I'll go on Henry, we'll talk. Maybe he needs to cool down, we'll talk. So I left I put my camera down and just left, and I didn't hear what was going on for the rest of the stream. And then and then I felt like the reaction afterwards, like people bring up a comment I made about someone made a threat of physical violence. And people were, not just Henry, but I was reading some comments on Discord, people mentioning this comment. And I'm like, why are people focusing on this? Like, what I said was a truthful statement, and people are focusing on this, but not focusing on what Drew did. And then I'm glad that you apologized, because it's important that we don't let violence, that type of rhetoric, be tolerated. And there are people out there who said this guy should be banned. I don't think you should be banned. You're clearly you're apologetic. So I feel like you should be able to speak your mind, and hopefully this will be a lesson for you to learn. I know this is, I know.
Eat it.
I know.
Take it. Eat it. Double scoop it, Drew. Double scoop it. Learn.
I know that you don't like to hear that, but at the end of the day, like, hopefully this is an experience you will learn from. And I know that it sounds, this is insulting to you, but it's kind of like, what you said was pretty crazy. So,
Brent, I'm apologizing to you. I'm not cowering before you. I'm not kissing your feet. I'm not kissing your behind. I'm owning what is mine. But
right.
You do not get to come on here and say, let that be a lesson to you, young man. Like you're Mr. Rogers over here. No, that's taking things too far. That's not right. That's not right.
Hold on, let's break the ice. Let's break the ice. Brent, he did apologize. It was out of character for him. You did provoke the issue. Sometimes people pot spills over. This was a spillover. Forgive him and he will apologize to you. This was from the Answer 06.
I provoked him. Like,
that's why I came on. I just didn't come on and say, oh boy, I'm going to yell at Brent today. I'm like, Jewish community, talking about Adolf Hitler, quoting, I'm Jewish. I lost family members in the Holocaust. You think I'm going to be happy about that? Then the way you dealt with Francis, I said, okay, that's it. I got to deal with this. And that's how that happened, Brent. You see over the Holocaust thing. Okay.
That's a topic of discussion from the Mighty Morphin conspiracy theorist. Right. That was a discussion.
Hitler. It's like, that's not cool, man. He's not cool. You're trying to excuse a lot of the Hitler activity. Hitler doesn't need to be excused. You do understand that. Like, he was a very bad man who did bad things, who killed people in unnatural ways. That is not cool. That is one of the biggest atrocities in world history. That is not something that is to be taken lightly, buddy. Like, that was the problem. You've got Laura's Jewish descent, Matt's Jewish descent, Stephanie Dana's Jewish descent. We're on here. Jason of Influence Film is Jewish descent. We're all sitting here going, yeah, that's not cool, man. So I spoke for everyone when I did that, because I felt like I needed to say something, because I want to represent everybody correctly and make sure that everyone's respected. It came off strong, and I take apology for that totally. But you need to understand that what you're saying is not fluff. What you're saying is not hugs and nice. Okay? You're not doing that. You're not the type of person, Brent. Like, if I know somebody like Matt Fisher's having surgery, I'm like, hey man, I'm praying for you. I hope you do well. Stay strong, man. Brent, you're not the person to type to say that sort of stuff. Not once. You're not that guy. And that's fine. All right. But I care for people. So it may come off strong, but I really care about people, and I want people to do well, and I want them to come at life strong. I mean, look at what I'm going through. I got multiple sclerosis, buddy. I could die tomorrow. I could die in 10 years. I may not see my son graduate from high school. That's what I got to deal with. And that's okay. But you know what? One thing that you will get from Drew Danger is every day that I get a chance to be alive that God gives me, I'm going to reach out to as many people as I can and care and do and see what I can change while I'm still here. And that's the thing that matters. You might get caught up in your world and what you think is important to you, but I move unselfishly. I think about everybody. That's what I try to do.
Okay.
Even you at times.
Okay, hold on. Let me break the ice. Conspiracy theorist was doing more dodging than Vince Vaughn did in dodgeball with the questions I was giving him. I'll usually pin people down. But go ahead, Brent. Any response? And then I got like so many people. I think Drew, that was his mic drop moment. I see we got El Coolio, Matt, Bushido, and Laura in the background. But go ahead, Brent.
I mean, I don't know any of you personally. I don't know you, Drew. I mean, I met Henry twice in two occasions, and I've met a couple of Matt Fisher in passing. probably a couple other people. So for me to claim any personal like deep relationship with people on social media is not something that I want to do, because people, it's very difficult to cultivate relationships online without meeting them in person and having those personal relationships. So this suggestion that I care for your condition, Drew, for Matt, for everyone. But the thing is, like, for me to, I don't know people's situations online. I have to meet people in person. So this notion that you're questioning how I treat people online, not having that personal connection, that's kind of intentional, because if you fall into the trap of making relationships with people online, it's a very risky thing to do. And I do hope that your condition gets better. I hope his surgery is successful. But if I don't say that publicly, that shouldn't be taken as I don't care about. I wish bad upon them. That shouldn't be how that should be taken. And to respond to your comment about the Hitler comment, I've repeated this many times. Henry's yawning because he's heard it before.
I'm tired, man. It's like 3
Okay, yeah, but it's kind of like you've heard my argument before. I've never said Hitler was a good person. We're talking about his effective speech making, his effective quotes in carrying out an evil agenda. Now, you want to disagree with that. That's, if you want to say that that's somehow supporting Hitler as a person, then we're going to argue, we're going to agree to disagree, and we don't want to keep arguing about this. We don't want to escalate this too further. So you want to call me a Hitler supporter because I said that Hitler had good quotes, effective speech making to advance a societal agenda? Then we're going to argue all day. And I guess people are going to call me a Hitler supporter because of that. And that's just how things are going to go, because Hitler, unfortunately, had very effective speeches in carrying out his agenda. That's just part of what he did. And there are books out there on Amazon that say that he had very great speeches. He should be the man of the century for his effective speeches. So that's what I want to say about that.
Okay, Answer 06, you wait in no line. So what's going on, brother?
Oh, he's in a lighted place. I've never seen him in a completely. He's always in his car.
He's speaking from illumination.
Illumination.
Yeah. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
If you guys were still going to be on the stream, I'm away from my military obligations this weekend, so I'm in the stairwell, so I don't wake up my roommate. But the most important thing, Brent, do you accept the apology?
Yes, I do.
All right. Things were just out of character for Drew, so just let this one go. Let's equate this to a mishap and then just move forward. But you also gotta realize that sometimes your way of communicating may result in a reaction. The same way, like when I interact with the public, when I have to go hands-on with someone, sometimes when I talk to them a certain way, I'm gonna get them to be more physical towards me. That's why I sometimes gotta slow back. Like, hey, let me approach this a different way to get my point across, where I'm not gonna have to go into that type of engagement. Sometimes you gotta just know how to communicate, because you did kind of provoke the situation. Not that I'm defending anyone, just as someone observing from the outside, you gotta be careful how you talk, because sometimes you could get the wrong reaction, or maybe a reaction that you was not expecting to happen. So,
right.
Just my opinion, just please, just tone it down a little bit. You don't want to come off as the angry person all the time. But other people have that type of reaction. Try to be nicer to females. Try to be nicer to people in general. So then that way you don't get those type of reactions. Because the thing that I'm concerned about, you go to these cons and you have those type of reactions with people in person. There's nothing that's separating you from that other person. Now, this on a forum like this, yeah, I get it. And Drew's a good person, of good character. Please forgive him. Do not let that stay in here that he made a mistake. He acknowledged it. He owned up to it. He was very apologetic to me about it. He said he wanted to talk to you about it. He did express it just now. Let's move to the next chapter. That's all I got.
All right. Well, thank you, Answer 06.
And all y'all need to go to bed.
Man,
Y'all
I'm trying, but people want to talk. All right. So y'all are cool. Drew, and Brent, y'all are good?
We're fine.
All right, let's let some other people chime in. Make it quick.
Oh my God! Sorry.
I'll make this quick. I am actually going to take one thing away from this, no matter what happens. If Drew is now Drew Danger, I am now Matt Precarious Situation. Love you all. Stay resilient, bitches. Goodbye.
All right, that was Matt. Let's bring up Laura. She wanted to say something. Make it quick, Laura.
Hi, Henry. Good to see you. Hey, Drew. Brent, a few things. Usually I'm the huggy, lovey type, and that's usually what I am. But I gotta say something. I think that you need to, if Drew is apologizing to you for what he said, I think your disrespect to Frances warrants an apology to Frances, because she has never done anything to you to make you treat her the way that you do. And before you get to yelling and carrying it on and all of that, go back and watch the way you speak to her. You know, if you had a sister or a really close girlfriend or whatever, would you appreciate somebody online talking to your sister or your mother or some female that is close to you, like the way you speak to Frances? No, you wouldn't. She is somebody's sister. She's somebody's mother. She's somebody's aunt. She means something to people. And the fact that you're sitting here disrespecting her is not cool. It's not, I don't care what happens. It's not cool. And don't start yelling at me and don't start yapping and all that stuff. Just think about it. Maybe you need to calm down when it comes to Frances, especially since it seems like you're always talking about her. In whatever capacity you're in, the name Frances is just glued on your tongue, you know, and maybe you need to step back and evaluate why you are treating someone that you don't, like you said, you don't know us. You don't know Frances. You have no idea what she's going through at this point. So I think we need to reevaluate why we are speaking to Frances the way that we are, you know. Again, imagine if that was your sister or your mother and some person online like you came on and just rambled on and said everything to them what you say to Frances. Would that sit well with you? And again, the whole Jason thing. I wish you would just leave him alone. He's gone. Let him rest. If Tammy was sitting here, if Jenna was sitting here, would you say those things about Jenna's father in front of her, to her face? Would you say it to her? Would you say it to Sky or Tammy? You know, if you won't say it to their face, if they were sitting in front of you, don't say it online because it's not nice.
All right. Thank you, Laura. We appreciate that. Thank you. Any rebuttal, Brent?
Yes. If Sky, Jenna, or Tammy were to ask me about my opinion, I would definitely tell it to them. You know why? Because Jason David Frank is a public figure. I would never. I've seen Tammy in Rhode Island. We bumped into each other, not like in passing. I don't know her. It was just like we were in the crowd. I didn't approach her. Sky, I saw her in Orlando. You were there with me, Henry. I never approached her booth. I was sitting right next to her in Atlanta during the party. I never approached her. Jenna actually approached me, asking me if she wanted me to sign something. Never mentioned anything to her. But if they were to see your channel, if they were asking me about my opinion, I would give it to them because and I would do it. And Henry, you would think that I would actually have the guts to do that. I would if they asked me. Now, if they didn't ask me, I'm not going to approach them because that's not how I do things. Because they're not Jason David Frank. I'm not wanting to spoil. If they were to come up to me and ask me my opinion, I would give it to them. Now, in response to
classless, man, but that's just
if they ask me my opinion, that's just it. I would never give it. I would never approach them for my opinion. But if they were to ask me my opinion specifically, I would give it to them. Okay. But I would never approach them with my opinion. I would never do that. Now, in terms of Frances, talking about if it was my sister, if I had a family member who said the stuff that Frances said, being okay with Jada talking about Austin's weight, mocking him for his lines, leaving out context where it seems like Walter was jealous, I would have the same reaction, same approach, saying, well, what are you doing? You have a responsibility. I would have that same approach. And so this idea that just because of their family member, I wouldn't take issue, it's just not accurate. I would take the same approach.
Okay.
So,
all right, Bushido, go ahead. Your thoughts?
Well, let's just see here. I've had grandparents be born and raised or had to deal with the Great Depression of the Roaring '20s afterwards. Then my grandpa served in the Navy in World War II, so yeah. And that's right. A few years ago, I've had at least one friend or a few friends die in the last couple years, so it's kind of hard to deal with.
Okay. Any thoughts on this Brent and Drew situation? You said you wanted to come up.
Yeah, I definitely have something to say. It's like, Brent, I'm glad that it's all hashed out and everything, but it's like, bro, you gotta stop annoying people.
That's a truthful statement.
Okay.
How do I say? Just being neurotypical might help the things don't get down. And of course, I do actually have an older sister, and I live with my mother, or my mother lives with me. So,
okay. All right. Well, thank you, Bushido. I got one more person I got to bring up. Don't be annoying. All right. There we go. El Colio, where's the mask?
El Coolio, I don't put the mask on right now because I'm tired. Brent, I've watched you for 6 months, and I'm not going to be angry, and I'm not going to bash you because you know what? It's obvious that there's something going on with you that you are hurt, and it's okay. That's fine. So you know what? We're not going to get involved in that. What I like to be like on it, this in general of all this, man, do you know what gaslighting is? Because, I mean, that's just in general, like in senses, when you go on comments like that and you don't put your name and say that stuff, that's gaslighting, man. It's okay. I mean, people are gonna call you out on it. It's okay on that one. Drew apologized. Hell, I've been giving Drew crap for the past 2 days over this. He is more tore up over this than I've seen anybody. And I'm gonna tell you this. Drew, I was going through a difficult time the past week, man. And I'm going to tell you who reached out to me. And it wasn't you, and it wasn't Henry. It was Drew. And I'm going to tell you a lot about this. Drew helped me out a lot in the situation. And I'm sure he can help you out too. But sometimes you just got to, just let it flow. But, just don't let a good man go to war. It's a Doctor Who reference. But before anything, I really just wanted to tell a story. And that's all I really want to do about Power Rangers. When my friend and me were little and Power Rangers was so popular and stuff like that, my best friend's dad was a drug addict, was a drug dealer. My friend used to be able to get a lot of Power Ranger toys and you wonder why he was getting them and stuff like that. And then he finally realized how he was getting them. He's getting them from drug money. But instead, and we were talking about Dare earlier and the whole situation. And this whole thing was, he goes up to class and his dad says the craziest thing I've ever heard in my life. He said, all those toys and all those Power Rangers you like, they're going to be gone if you tell the cops. And situations like that. So he decided, young buck at his age, probably 6 or 7, he gets back home so excited. He says, Dad, Dare came, and I didn't tell him nothing. That's really what I wanted to say.
All right, Coolio. Thank you.
All right, man. You guys be loved.
Take care, man.
All right. Any last words?
And last words? Not really. I mean,
nothing to say. All right. Well, you have.
Oh, yes. Wait. So yes, Drew, I do accept your apology because I understand the passion that this community has. And I'm going to ignore the people who feel that you should be banned. No. I understand that hearing from you today that, you were out of line and you apologized. And that's what I want to say about that. So obviously you made a mistake and that happens. Mm-hmm. And for the people afterwards who some of the people, the stuff they were saying, it's like, I'm annoying. Okay, I'll keep being annoying. So yeah, that's I speak my mind, and I will continue to do so. And people throwing these cards, these social, the woman, whether you're a woman or a man, your opinion I will challenge it regardless. And that I see that as a sign of respect, because those things shouldn't be considered when you're having a debate. And we will continue having, this is a good thing about Henry's channel. We have these discussions, even if we disagree. And sometimes I think it's escalated, and that stuff happens. And so we'll continue to have these debates. You will continue to disagree with me. And I accept that. That's just part of interacting on social media. And people are going to come at me and with their words and their opinions, and I welcome that, as long as they don't resort to physical violence. And that happened, and that was a mistake, and that stuff happens, and I get it. And as long as you didn't come on here and double down on it, then I'd be like, holy, how dare you speak to me that way? That's pretty crazy, but you didn't do that. So I think that we could. I totally accept your apology, and I think we can move on from this. And even though we're going to disagree, we are going to just have our disagreements. So
Answer06 says, now apologize to Francis and tone it down, Brent.
Francis, you want me to apologize to Francis for what I said, our dialogue?
Well, you did admit to disrespecting her. Your words, not mine.
Disrespecting her? Disrespecting Francis?
Yeah, you said, just because I disrespect Francis doesn't mean I deserve to be threatened.
Yes, because what I disrespect it's just craziness what she's saying. Like,
so Answer06 is saying apologize for the disrespect to Francis.
Disrespect for what? For the stuff I said?
For the disrespect that you were mentioning. You said you disrespected Francis. You said it.
Read that quote again. I said disrespecting Francis does not mean people were accusing me of that. But the quote says people were accusing me of disrespecting Francis, and I said, just because I disrespect Francis does not mean threats of, that's not directly, but that's just the wording. I guess you could say that people are going to make assumptions that I agree that I disrespected Francis. We're playing these word games, but yeah, whatever I said, you guys interpret that disrespect. Whatever the conversation we had, that's interpreted as disrespect to Francis, and that's just part of interacting on social media. What I said to Francis, that's what people are referring to, right?
Go ahead, Answer06. You can explain your point.
All right, sir. It's all about the delivery, effective communication. You just got to work on your delivery. You could have that interaction and show your passion where it does not teeter that line where other people may perceive that you're disrespecting someone. If you become the bigger person and apologize, some of that heat that was going your way will tone down a little bit. It'll be like just turning off the pilot on the stove top a little bit, and then it'll be less flame. I mean, there'll still be flame there, but you don't need to have it scorching hot. Just bring it down some, do an apology. As long as it's sincere, do an apology, and then just change your approach in the future. And then you won't be getting these interactions like this where people are getting riled. Please and thank you. That's all I'm asking.
All right.
Be the bigger man on this one and just tone it down a little bit.
Okay, thank you, Answer06. Well, Brent.
So the delivery, yes, I could work on, because people are telling me you're too loud. Like you're too. Yeah. I get.
I think people just want to know: are you going to apologize? Yes or no, man?
On my approach, answer yes. I will apologize on my approach. Now, what I said, that's not going to change. So my delivery, like maybe I could talk a little softer. Yes, I think I talk a little too loud because, again, the passion. When you get on social media, it's the passion, and yes, I do. I'll try to tone it down. How loud I talk. I'll try to tone it down, and I apologize if my delivery is comes up too aggressive. But the words, the message that I'm saying will not change.
Yeah, that's
so. I don't know if people are looking for me not to criticize her. If they're asking me not to do that, then that's not going to happen. If I feel that she should be criticized. Now, my rhetoric, I'll try to be more mindful of that and try to not raise my voice so much, because I can understand how that's interpreted as disrespect. Yeah, I'll try to tone down the voice, but in terms of criticizing her message, that won't change.
Okay, well, so thank you, Brent, man. You have a great night. All right.
All right, thank you.
All right, peace, man. All right, I think that was the best we was gonna get from Brent.
Yeah.
The biggest question before you even talk, before you say anything, is one question I want to know. Did you learn your lesson? When he said that, I was like, you got to eat it, eat it, eat it.
I said, no, man, I'm not here to kiss your feet. Okay. I didn't expect for you to do that to me, and I'm definitely not doing it to you. You taking things too far. Too far. And by the way, I didn't ask him about King Snow, the guy that said he was being Brent's bodyguard, because he showed up at the end of the show talking about fight me and all this stuff. So I'm like, Brent, did you talk to him and smooth that out? Because he wanted to get at me too. So I mean,
my grandmother said physical violence is not good. Drew is smart. He could have put it another way for Brent to understand, and Brent still have to learn to be respectful there.
Grandma, I'm sorry, and I thank you so much for your wisdom. I really do, and I appreciate. I hope I'm still your favorite. You know, not Brent.
She watching right.
Not Brent. Not him. And by the way, Henry, I wanted to say this. Brent said, "Oh, internet friends, and you can't have connections." We started Knights of the Dragon. We've been forming all these connections left and right. Brent is truly blind to that. Yes, Brent, I said you're blind. You're blind to that. Spencer just came up, and we just had him on the show, and we totally connected, and we've been connected. I'm like, me and Francis. I'm telling you, like, we're doing it. So what is he talking about? Has he been to the channel? Has he seen Knights of the Dragon? Has he seen Strife and me and everybody doing all these shows and us connecting together and doing things? I'm like, dude, you really don't know what's going on out here on the street, do you?
Well,
that's what I was saying. You just see your world, man.
Sometimes he doesn't. Maybe he doesn't want to see it, you know?
That's what I'm thinking too. And obviously, guys, even outside of me and outside of Francis, he's not here. He's not here. You know, he's not here. So that's okay. That's all right. But I tried. And that's why I got upset. Because, you know, Henry, I started nice with him, right? Like, all right, let me get to know you. We had the Drew stream. Let me have some fun with you. Right? I tried, but he kept taking and I was like, all right. Ooh, you're really testing this patience over here. But I hung in there until that yesterday. I said, okay, I had enough. And that's what happened. So it's not just, oh, I got mad at Brent. It's like over time, I've been trying to work with him. I told him, I said, Brent, why don't we start with hello, hi, please, thank you. Maybe not this way. I tried that. He didn't want to do it. So I don't know, guys.
All right. Well, look, man, I got to go to bed. Good stream. I appreciate everything, man.
Oh, this is for you in space. Let's rock it. So there you go, buddy. I had to do that for you. Hey, Henry, keep it cool, buddy. Thank you.
Man. Peace,
all right.
Love. Don't smack nobody. All right. Give me that.
Nah, those days are behind me.
Let's hope. All right, y'all. We had to make sure our guy Drew learned his lesson. Had to eat some Brent shit for a while. Oh man.